National Electrical Code Section 358.30 addresses the grounding requirements for electrical metallic tubing, often referred to as EMT. However, the exceptions cited, exception No. 4, would also apply to PVC conduit by extension of the general grounding and bonding rules found throughout the code. Generally, all metallic electrical enclosures and raceways must be grounded. This grounding provides a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, facilitating the operation of overcurrent protective devices such as circuit breakers or fuses. The equipment grounding conductor, often referred to as EGC, is the means by which this connection is made. PVC conduit, being a non-metallic raceway, inherently does not conduct electricity, thus, under normal circumstances, would not serve as an effective fault current path. Because of this, installations using PVC conduit typically require the inclusion of a separate equipment grounding conductor within the conduit. However, there are specific exceptions where an equipment grounding conductor is not required to be installed within PVC conduit. Exception No. 4 to 358.30 as applied to PVC conduit installations through general code principles stipulates conditions where the equipment grounding conductor can be omitted. To understand the exception fully, it is crucial to consider the following aspects. Firstly, the exception generally applies when the circuit operates at less than 250 volts to ground. This voltage threshold is essential because lower voltage systems pose a reduced risk of insulation breakdown and arcing faults, thereby diminishing the necessity for a dedicated equipment grounding conductor in certain scenarios. Secondly, the overcurrent protection for the circuit must not exceed 20 amps. The amperage limitation is significant as lower amperage circuits typically involve smaller loads and, consequently, present a lower risk of severe fault currents. Overcurrent protection devices rated at 20 amps or less are deemed sufficient to mitigate potential hazards in such installations. Thirdly, the exception is applicable when the extended metal parts of the equipment are reliably bonded by other means. This requirement is paramount because it ensures that even if an equipment grounding conductor is not run within the PVC conduit, the metal parts of the equipment are still effectively grounded through an alternative pathway. This alternative bonding arrangement must provide a low impedance path to ground, equivalent to or better than what a dedicated equipment grounding conductor would offer. It's essential to elaborate on what constitutes extended metal parts and reliably bonded by other means. Extended metal parts refer to any exposed metal components of electrical equipment that could potentially become energized during a fault condition. These parts might include enclosures, housings, frames, or any other accessible metal surfaces. Reliably bonded by other means implies that these extended metal parts are connected to the grounding electrode system through a robust and dependable bonding method. This bonding method could involve various techniques such as using metallic conduit, metal straps, or dedicated bonding jumpers to establish a continuous electrical connection to ground. The key criterion is that the bonding connection must be mechanically sound, electrically conductive, and capable of safely carrying any fault current that might occur. Consider the following example scenario to illustrate the application of this exception. Suppose you are installing a 120 volts lighting circuit in a residential setting using PVC conduit to run the wiring. The circuit is protected by a 15 amp circuit breaker. The metal junction boxes and lighting fixtures are securely bonded to the grounding electrode system via the metal framework of the building. In this case, you might be able to omit the equipment grounding conductor within the PVC conduit, provided that the bonding arrangement meets the requirements of the exception. However, it is imperative to emphasize that this exception should not be applied indiscriminately. A thorough assessment of the specific installation conditions is crucial to ensure that all requirements of the exception are met. Furthermore, it is always prudent to consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer to verify the applicability of the exception in any given situation. The National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is developed and maintained by the National Fire Protection Association, and it is widely adopted by jurisdictions across the United States and other countries. The NEC is updated every 3 years to incorporate new technologies, address emerging safety concerns, and clarify existing requirements. Electrical codes are not merely suggestions, they are legally enforceable regulations that are designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. Compliance with electrical codes is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. Failure to comply with these codes can result in fines, penalties, and, more importantly, increased risk of electrical shock, fire, and other hazards. The NEC covers a wide range of topics related to electrical installations, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, bonding, equipment installation, and special occupancies. It provides detailed requirements for the selection, installation, and maintenance of electrical equipment and systems. In addition to the NEC, many local jurisdictions have their own electrical codes that may be more stringent or have additional requirements. It is essential to be familiar with both the NEC and any local electrical codes that apply to a particular installation. Grounding and bonding are fundamental concepts in electrical safety. Grounding refers to the intentional connection of electrical equipment or systems to the earth. Bonding refers to the connection of various metallic parts of an electrical system to create a continuous electrical path. The purpose of grounding is to provide a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, facilitating the operation of overcurrent protective devices and minimizing the risk of electrical shock. The purpose of bonding is to equalize the voltage potential between different metallic parts of an electrical system, reducing the risk of electric shock and minimizing the possibility of arcing faults. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. There are several different types of grounding systems, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. The most common types of grounding systems include the grounded system, the ungrounded system, and the impedance grounded system. In a grounded system, one of the current carrying conductors is intentionally connected to ground. This type of system is widely used in residential and commercial buildings because it provides a relatively low impedance path for fault current and helps to minimize the risk of electrical shock. In an ungrounded system, none of the current carrying conductors are intentionally connected to ground. This type of system is sometimes used in industrial applications where continuity of service is critical, as a single ground fault will not cause the circuit to trip. However, ungrounded systems are more susceptible to transient overvoltages and can be more difficult to troubleshoot. In an impedance grounded system, a resistor or inductor is connected between the neutral point of the system and ground. This type of system provides a higher impedance path for fault current than a grounded system, which can help to reduce the magnitude of ground fault currents and minimize the risk of equipment damage. Impedance grounded systems are often used in industrial applications where sensitive electronic equipment is present. Bonding is typically achieved by using bonding jumpers, which are short lengths of wire or metal straps that connect different metallic parts of an electrical system. Bonding jumpers must be sized appropriately to carry the maximum fault current that could occur in the system. The NEC provides detailed requirements for the size and installation of bonding jumpers. In addition to bonding jumpers, metallic conduit and raceways can also be used for bonding purposes, provided that they are properly installed and maintained. The NEC specifies the requirements for the use of metallic conduit and raceways as bonding conductors. Electrical safety is a critical concern in all electrical installations. Electrical shock, fire, and explosions are all potential hazards that can result from improper installation or maintenance of electrical equipment. It is essential to follow all applicable electrical codes and standards to minimize these risks. There are several basic safety precautions that should be followed when working with electricity. Firstly, always de-energize the circuit before working on any electrical equipment. This can be accomplished by turning off the circuit breaker or removing the fuse that supplies power to the circuit. Secondly, use properly insulated tools when working with electricity. Insulated tools help to protect against electrical shock. Thirdly, never work on electrical equipment in wet or damp conditions. Water is a good conductor of electricity and can increase the risk of electrical shock. Fourthly, Be aware of your surroundings and avoid contact with any grounded surfaces while working with electricity. Grounded surfaces can provide a path for electrical current to flow through your body. Fifthly, if you are not comfortable working with electricity, seek the help of a qualified electrician. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by those who are properly trained and equipped. In addition to these basic safety precautions, there are several other safety measures that can be taken to reduce the risk of electrical hazards. These include using ground fault circuit interrupters, arc fault circuit interrupters, and surge suppressors. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are devices that detect small ground faults and quickly de-energize the circuit. GFCIs are typically required in bathrooms, kitchens, and other wet locations where the risk of electrical shock is higher. Arc fault circuit interrupters, or FCIs, are devices that detect arc faults, which are a common cause of electrical fires. FCIs are typically required in bedrooms and other areas where people sleep. Surge suppressors are devices that protect electronic equipment from voltage surges. Voltage surges can damage sensitive electronic equipment and can also cause fires. Regular inspections and maintenance are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. Electrical equipment should be inspected regularly for signs of damage or wear. Any damaged or worn equipment should be repaired or replaced immediately. Electrical connections should be checked periodically to ensure that they are tight and secure. Loose connections can cause overheating and can increase the risk of electrical fires. Overcurrent protective devices should be tested periodically to ensure that they are functioning properly. Overcurrent protective devices are designed to trip when the current in a circuit exceeds a certain level. If these devices are not functioning properly, they may not trip when they should, which could lead to a fire or other hazard. In conclusion, while NEC Section 358.30 generally pertains to EMT, the underlying principles regarding equipment grounding conductors extend to PVC conduit installations. Exception No. 4 allows for the omission of the equipment grounding conductor under specific conditions involving low voltage, low amperage, and reliable alternative bonding. However, it is critical to exercise caution and consult with qualified professionals to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards. Always prioritize safety when working with electricity, and never hesitate to seek expert advice when needed. Understanding and adhering to electrical codes is paramount for protecting people and property from electrical hazards.